Welcome, folks, to another exciting Deep Space Nine commentary. This time it's the Season 1 episode Battle Lines. And today, again, is Marcelo. Thanks for joining me, Marcelo. How are you today?
I'm great, and thanks for having me back.
Well, we won't waste any time. We'll get right into it because I like this episode. I can't wait to comment. All right, I'm going to get... Of course, I left my phone off too long, so now I have to queue it up again. All right. We're going to do a 3-second countdown. 1, 2, 3, and then go. We hit play on go. So, 3, 2, 1, go. What's funny is where the files were located. O'Brien's talking. It almost seems like it began in the middle of a scene.
Yeah, it's like the editor of this episode just thought, hey, we'll do the cold open or the open that has any relevance, like in the middle of the scene.
And big girls don't cry.
They never do.
When you're listening with the headphones, you can really hear that the ops ambient sound.
Yeah, you can. Nobody does ambience like Star Trek.
Yeah. uh,
That makes her feel better.
oh yeah. I like Kai Opaka. And she was in the pilot episode.
Mm-hmm.
And she does that thing with Cisco's ear. Or like
Yep.
with they do that thing with people's ear where they like squeeze your ear. What is it to sense your paw or something? I don't know.
Yeah. To discover his inner pa or like
Mm.
his inner chi.
She's very well cast because I mean I know they're not nuns, but that's what I saw them as. I saw her as a kid. Like, oh, this is their version of a Catholic nun. Because I was around nuns as a child, raised in
I always,
Catholic
I
schools and
always
stuff.
I always looked at her as the Pope for the Bajoran people. Um,
Yeah, the
but
Kai
you,
is like the Pope. Yeah.
yeah, like uh, at least she's better than the other one because the other one is a psychopath.
Oh, Kai Wynn. Yeah, she's one of the
Yeah,
greatest television
she's
villains of all time.
yeah, she's a religious nut. She's a religious nutter.
I hated her so much as a kid, but didn't appreciate the character or the performance. Then I grew up and I saw One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I was
And
like,
then you got it right.
Nurse Ratchet is Kai Wynn. I was like, oh my god! And then I had a whole new appreciation for her as an actor.
Yeah,
And then watching it, of course, as an adult, like, but there's a reason Kai Wynn shows up, and it's revealed in this episode. I mean, Kai Wynn isn't in this episode, but this is the end of Kai Opaka,
hmm
in a sense.
yeah. We should put that in quotation marks, in a sense.
I'm sure nothing bad will happen to them.
Oh, nothing at all. They'll just have a nice trip to the wormhole and then be back without a problem.
Um, the theme for Strange New Worlds, which probably won't be revealed for a while. I want it to be a variation on. I
On this,
originally thought this, but then I was like, no, Deep Space Nine is just Deep Space Nine. Keep it where it is. But Star Trek First Contact. The theme for Star Trek First Contact. Like, I don't know how to say it. Like, with a little more oomph.
are you
And
talking about?
and a little more up tempo.
Yeah, are you talking
Uh,
about the that opening piece in front of First Contact when you see the in the opening credits?
yeah.
Okay, all right, okay. I am
Dun, dun,
yeah,
dun, 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 dun. I can't say,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, you know it.
I am on 100% agreement with you. That to me felt like it should have been in Star Trek Nemesis because it felt like the end. That song signified the end to me, not the beginning of a movie. Um, but I don't know what your
No,
thoughts
I
on
listened
that
to it
are.
today, and I listened to it at 1.25 speed. I was like,
Oh,
maybe not that fast, but if there was like a gussied up version, I think I could picture it working for Strange New Worlds. But I'm sure they're gonna use a variation on the TOS theme because they hinted
yeah,
at that in Discovery every time the Enterprise
yeah,
was involved. They played that original theme at the end.
yeah. And Strange New Worlds does have two composers, so
Mm.
it's a minute till your death. Sorry, spoilers.
1,400 hours. That's 2 o'clock. I learned military time from Star Trek. 2 o'clock p.m. I mean.
I could never learn military time, even from Star Trek. It always confuses me.
The easiest way to do it is, like, say if it's 1,600, take away 2 hours and it's 4 p.m. It's like 1,800 is 6, 2000. What do you call it? 2,000 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
The 20th hour of the day is 8 o'clock. That's when I finally understood the term 0 hour. I'm like, what does zero
Re-
hour mean? I'm like,
Really?
oh, it's 12 o'clock midnight. Ah, Star Trek teaches you a lot.
Yeah, it does.
Sometimes they say o'clock. I know one or two times I've heard them use like
O'clock in Star Trek?
o'clock and yeah, like PM or AM. Somebody said that once.
Huh,
Could be misremembering, but I don't know.
right.
Oh god, not a narrowband subspace signal.
Turn around now.
There's a very special guest star in this episode.
Oh, yeah. What is his name? Hank from, not Hank. Why do I always confuse him with Hank? Mike from Breaking Bad.
He plays Mike Ehrmantraut.
Yeah. I always confuse him with Hank for some reason. I don't know why. Perhaps that's because they're both bald.
Mm.
I don't know.
Jonathan Banks is his name, by the way. I forgot to say. He's I liked him for years since Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Yeah, the first time I saw him act in anything is in Breaking Bad. I, you know,
He
and
talks like this now, like in his
yeah,
old age. He was always a background player in a lot of movies. He was always like he played a henchman in Beverly Hills Cop, and he was always in the background of everything. And he actually, or a guest star like in this in the '90s. This was
yeah,
his thing, and
he's one of those actors who you've seen the face of before, but you can't really pinpoint their name.
and in fact, the only reason he's became famous is because Bob Odenkirk couldn't do a scene in Breaking Bad. It's a scene where he has to go to Jesse's house and take care of something. That was supposed to be Bob Odenkirk, but with something with scheduling, he couldn't do it. So they hired Jonathan Banks, and the rest is history.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And he was always cast as like the gruff kind of dude. Of course, he is in this when we see him. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't expect them to kill such important characters so soon in the series. Wow. There's no way any of them survived.
No way, but it's Star Trek, so the lucky ones do and the unlucky ones don't.
It's like Cisco's like, hey, yeah, me and you are fine, and the doctor, but the guest star, yeah, she's dead.
She said, "Sorry."
Oh, that's a scary look on her face.
Terrifying.
It's like you don't really see, and then she's like the look of death.
Hmm.
Yeah, Kira's gonna have a breakdown.
Yeah. None of Visitor's acting in this specific scene is
This
so good. It's really good.
this is like one of us watching Beyonce die. Like, no, no, I don't care for her music, but I just love her anyway.
Oh my god.
That is a thing in shows and movies that I don't know why it rubs me the wrong way.
It doesn't? Why,
It's
why
when
does it?
it's when a corpse has its eyes open and somebody kind of like just like brushes past their face and the eyes close. It like never looks right or real.
Right?
Like it
Hmm.
never looks like they're actually closing the eyelids. It simply looks like they're just waving the hand over the face and the actor closes their eyes. Anyway, and it's a
Okay.
minor thing. It's a trope.
Hmm.
It's as tropey as an American in a television show or movie coming out of the grocery store with a paper bag and French bread sticking out of the top. You think? I know. I mean, it's weird. You think if the issue was so important, which she is, there would be like advisor security stuff like that. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's like the odd thing that I kind of it came to my attention the first time I watched this episode. Why doesn't she have like an armed escort when she goes anywhere?
I guess because she trusts, like I guess if she believes, does she believe Cisco's the emissary? I don't know. She knows he's special or something. There's there's Mike Ehrmantraut, or I mean Jonathan Banks, the actor.
I miss Avery books.
The hell you are.
Yeah.
I like how he gets all like brave when he's got to do his doctor stuff. Let me
Mhm.
treat this patient.
No, it's like for certain situations he's really uncomfortable and really scatterbrained, but every time he has to do his job, he's very self-assured and very forward and very confident, which makes sense.
Yeah, he kind of goes into McCoy mode. It's like, God damn it, it's the Spanish
there,
Inquisition.
there you go. God's sakes, for God's sakes.
We're at war. He's like, you know what he reminds me of? It's like they kind of want it. I don't know if this is true, but I think for this particular part, they were like, we need a Sylvester Stallone type Rambo gruff dude. And they're like, that Jonathan Banks kind of sounds like Sylvester Stallone. He's like, yeah, get that guy. I can see Sylvester Stallone playing this exact role. You expect you to be.
For me, that requires a little bit more uh, suspension of belief, but I'll go with it for this commentary.
He said penal. He has a great voice then, and it gets better with age. I don't know how old he's now. Jonathan Banks. Jonathan Banks. How old is he? He's got to be in his 70s.
It gets more raspy.
He's 74, which is he plays he plays the same character in Breaking Bad as he does in Better Call Saul, but in terms of real life age, they're almost like about 10 years apart as of this point.
Mm-hmm.
So in Breaking Bad, which is the sequel to Better Call Saul, he actually looks much younger. Which is, what can you do? It would have been funny. She's saying like all this stuff. It's really somber, and Kyle Paka pops up like, "I'm alive."
Yeah,
Starts
that would have.
dancing,
That would have totally undercut the scene. It would have been funny, but it would have
and then Kira
undercut the
starts
scene.
screaming in horror.
Yeah. Ah.
It's the zombie apocalypse. I mean, it's these. This is a zombie story in a sense.
Uh huh.
Basically, the undead.
The undead walking and unable to die.
It's interesting what they have to work with in terms of like sets, because this isn't a large elaborate set.
No, it's like your
It's
standard.
relatively small. I bet you if you were physically there, you'd be like, oh, this is way smaller than it looks on TV.
Yeah.
Because TV with lenses and other techniques, they have to create these whole areas that are completely obviously now to us on sound stages and foam rocks and all that, but for the time, like, there was a hell of a lot of effort. They were always sculpting these styrofoam rock formations. You used to see the behind the scenes of some things, like the pilot episode. They have like rock mountains in that, but they're miniatures. So the actors are filmed against the green screen with the miniature rock formations that they physically like carved out. It's just that the compositing, doesn't look great. Oh my god.
Who can that be?
Wouldn't it be crazy if she was like
How is this possible? I have no idea. Oh wait, I do.
far out, man. Wow, it's so cool the description she's giving of like her dying. It's so
So specific.
yeah. They don't catch on until everybody else starts to come back to life.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wait, this is an interesting. I don't remember the specifics. Opaka's like, I'm healing them. I'm healing them. She's like, no, you're not. No, no, she's not really thinking that, obviously, but somebody at that point should have been like, what? Or like did a double take.
Yeah. There's Dax again. I love me some Dax. Sorry.
Dude, I wonder if I don't know for a fact, but do binary star systems exist? I don't know if
I have no idea.
have they detected them with satellites, and I have no idea.
I don't know.
Let me look it up. Binary.
It's a nice trivia question.
Oh.
Oh,
Actually, most stars are in binary systems. Perhaps up to 85% of stars are in binary systems, with some in triple or even higher multiple systems.
wow.
Well, then.
So binary stars are a real thing. Huh.
But only 5 to 10% are visible. So, okay.
I wonder why that is. Like, are they too small or they don't have like. Yeah, I don't know much about real science, so.
Science is hard. It's hard for me.
Yeah, I would definitely concur with that.
It's like I'm hearing now, and I don't know if this is true. People are saying the world is round. Like, how are we not falling off?
Yeah, that's for me. I don't subscribe to that theory that the world is round. But hey, you go and do you. You know, if you think the Earth is flat,
And
that's fine with me.
do you know NASA isn't even real? They haven't even been to the moon. It was all Stanley Kubrick. He's not even dead.
Oh, don't get started on that shit now. Come on.
In case anyone hasn't realized, we are joking.
Yes, we
We are
are
being, what do you call that?
facetious.
Facetious.
Yeah, facetious.
gonna have to look up what that means later. No, I'm joking.
You tune into a Star Trek commentary and you get a vocabulary word.
That's enough, god damn it! He's like, God damn, Kira, like, take it down to 11. Because you're at like a 35.
Or even 10.
That's interesting. There's a catch.
I wonder what that is.
Even he would like that, but even he doesn't know that you can't leave.
So, are you telling me that no other humans or no other aliens came to this planet before?
I guess not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, they're really only covering a very small portion of time and
Space.
space in their
Right.
stories. So
Right.
we're big babies. That's what it comes down to. Like two people, like, yeah, I don't like you. I don't like you either.
Like you either.
And that's why there's war. Look for a moon. There's always something going on in space. It's fouling up the sensors.
Space travel is not easy, my friend.
It's like when the narrative serves them not being able to be transported out of somewhere, they'll be like, oh, gravitational interference from the collapsing stars interfering with the transporter beam. Can't get a lock.
Yeah. Or in layman's terms, tech gobbledygook. But that's the most fun part of Star Trek for me. Tech gobbledygook is awesome.
I notice, like, with this one in the last episode, they're not afraid to go, really full jargon to the point where it might as well be another language, some of what they're saying. Because it's
Yeah.
literally just made up science. I mean, you can't make sense of it anyway. You could make it make sense internally, like within the show's
Yeah.
logic. But
But is it just me, or does their Trek gobbledygook sound a lot better and a lot more credible than the new era Trek gobbledygook that we have now?
yeah, a part of that is, I think, because the older stuff is much more vocal. When in newer Trek, it's a combination of the dialogue, which I do believe is kind of dumbed down a bit for modern audiences, to make it more like relatable, I guess, somehow. That's why the best thing the Trek ever did was like they use metaphors, like a thing and a thing, like to let the audience know what we're doing is like this thing that you know about. But nowadays they use way too much like pop up see-through holograms and like graphics and wavelengths and stuff. Like it's all very visual, but somehow it feels less real. I don't know why.
Right.
Like all of this, hand jiving things that the actors have to do when they're touching the invisible screen and like moving. It all came from Iron Man. Nobody was doing that
No,
before. Two movies, Iron Man and Minority Report. Before those two movies,
nobody
no,
did it.
there weren't things where people were flicking holograms around in the air and like it just. Ugh. I'm old school. I like the like touch screen is good enough. Like looking at an actual just screen with a solid non-translucent or transparent image. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
The holographic stuff they do now is just unnecessary flourish.
Yeah, it's a
It's just a
little
way of
much.
saying, "Look how much money we have." It's like you could have that same effect
No,
with people
but
just
if
talking
they
to each
ever
other.
do, yeah, if they ever do holograms the way they should, if they don't do them with a translucent, with a non-translucent background, I'll be pissed off because I don't want people to see what I'm looking at in a hologram form.
Oh yeah, and I mean TNG kind of did some hologram stuff. I mean, it's not like they're not around. I mean, they're there. It's just in terms of '90s. In the '90s, it was just a budgetary thing.
Hmm.
And in fact, in the first and I think some of the second season of
Yeah,
TNG, it might be just the first.
yeah,
Picard has that
really.
little holographic display in his desk that has these little pop-up hologram things, and that's like
Uh-huh.
that was a huge, not a huge
Step.
undertaking in terms of special effects, but it was hours of work, hours and hours of work that they could have just replaced with a graphic on a screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're all children.
The thing that I love about D Space Nine, and this is why this is my main reason why it's a cut above the rest, is because I love its religious allegories that it presents. For me, that gives the show just that extra step above all the rest of the other shows.
Yeah, and it's it's I don't know. What's the right word? It was unconventional at the time, I guess, for it to kind of go down these paths of like spirituality, religion, and it makes sense because it's not going to go away in different societies and stuff. I mean, deities and religious organizations will probably exist in multiple humanoid societies. Maybe 85% of them are secular, but still, you would still have, But the thing about that kind of impressed me as a kid, but not too much, but I appreciate it much more now, was that I recognized that this was a Star Trek in terms of the Bajoran religion, where like the gods were tangible, like they were actually aliens in the wormhole. It wasn't like the religion I grew up with, where there was no tangibility. It's just you couldn't.
Yeah, look, yeah,
There was
and
no
the
literal proof. You know what I mean? There was,
yeah,
but the prophets are undeniably real. They're not a belief. They're actually aliens that the Bajorans worship. And who's to
hmm
say that human beings didn't worship advanced civilizations that may have visited us years ago? And
hmm
we created entire systems of religion out of that. The only difference with the Bajoran religion, it seems like the prophets are active and they care. And I don't know. I'm not really an
they
expert on the
act.
prophets, but I
Yeah,
believe they're
they.
benevolent. And what are the opposite guys? The Pirates. Is it the Pirates?
Oh, yeah, I think it's about right. Yeah,
Yeah, they're like the devil, the
yeah,
evil prophets.
yeah.
I might not have any idea what I'm talking about because
No,
I haven't
no,
studied
man.
the
Hey, I don't.
intricacies of it. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, half the time when I'm talking in our Star Trek discussions, I don't have any idea what the hell I'm saying, so don't worry about it.
But I know people, I won't name names, and it's not like a bad thing. It's actually pretty cool, who literally just watch all of this over and over again, and they don't stop. So you know every little detail. I knew a friend like that from years ago. Who was like always tried to
Yeah.
challenge me on the trivia
Hmm.
because like
I
he'd
am not.
watch it all the
Yeah,
time.
I'm not good at trivia. Like the only franchise that I'm really good at trivia at, that I'm really positive with, is Mission Impossible feature film trivia. Yeah.
Maybe I like the idea of the episode more than the episode itself.
Mm. Is is that the guy? Is that the actor from? It's not the. That's not the actor from Twin Peaks, right?
Mm,
No,
no, no.
no. Looks like him though.
The episode is not over yet,
No,
so we need to
this.
fight. We can't resolve
Yeah.
this now. Are you fool?
Let them fight.
It's a little predictable.
Yeah, it's kind of telegraphed too.
Yeah, it's like I love the evolution of fighting. Not so much in movies because that's like a bigger deal in terms of like
Yeah,
just, but in terms of
the
time, they have to
yeah.
rehearse and stage. In the
Hmm.
'60s, it was like double fisted punch, kind of knock you clean across the face once and you're down. Very simple stuff. Then this was more improved. It was a little more visceral, a little more violent. They had the stabbing motions,
Yeah.
but it's still very stagey. And even
Mhm.
now, like with the cool like choreography that they have to do in literally
Mm.
everything, I almost wish at some point there was like a good old fashioned like real looking fight because I'm a nitpicker when it comes to that. Fights almost never look real.
What do you? Okay, with that being said, what do you think of the fight in Star Trek '09 in the bar?
Oh, that's well shot. It's pretty visceral. It
Yeah,
feel
right.
it looks stagey, and it's like one of those things where
Yeah,
they
but
do this in so many things where somebody is punching somebody and they go boom, boom, boom. And like in real life, people usually stop after three or four, but in movies and stuff, people always like go insane when they get somebody down and they punch him like 16 times. Somebody like, you're gonna kill him. Like they always do that. They always go overboard. I tell you what, good fight choreography. Uh, Mission Impossible Fallout. Henry
Oh gosh,
Cavill
so
and
bathroom fight.
the bathroom fight. That's one of the best fights. I think that is literally the best physical fist fight in a Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, Roadhouse.
Which fight? There's a lot of fights in Rojas, like
The
the
well the big last one where he fights the dude, which
okay.
is an actual fight.
Yeah.
That's for the longest time I'm like, why does this fight look so fucking good and brutal? And I
Hmm.
found out years later, I'm like, oh, like they were really
Really
hitting
fighting.
each other. Patrick Swayze got messed up.
Yeah.
He was fighting a real stunt guy, and
Mm.
apparently he threw him down on a piece of wood or something, messed him up.
Oof.
But the only part of that wasn't real was when he rips his throat out. Spoilers. But
Yeah.
that whole fight, like the blood and everything, and the bruises, all real.
Hmm.
They'll never do that now.
Nope.
Rocky Balboa is another good example. The final boxing match are real hits.
Mm-hmm.
Like they make contact.
Mm.
Yes, talk to the Kai. Sometimes when we do commentaries, it's not always about the episode. I veer off, especially.
Yeah. Well,
But I'm
I'm kind
still
of new
watching
to
it.
this, so. She can't leave, Kira.
Kira's gonna start screaming in her face. No, you can't leave. Van horn flies. What are those? I wonder. I'm
Gotta
sure
go
Lower
to,
Decks will reference it at some point.
yeah. No, I bet you like Lower Decks will bring back O'Brien at some point. Actually, not like bring him back as like as a hologram or something. No, explain now, damn it. Why is she not coming back?
I can die? You can do that for me? It's totally understandable.
Absolutely.
Oh, he's not
This
learned a
is
thing.
this is
Gosh darn it.
not learned a damn thing.
So they don't do the thing? That that 90s graphics, it's coming straight for us.
Yeah. Ah.
It's like an Atari game.
You win. Sorry. Didn't learn a goddamn thing.
And I'm sure the Federation or the Bajorans will never check up on us ever again.
Nope. No, not really.
Yeah, they don't go back to that. I don't know if she even in a flashback or a vision, I'm not sure if she makes another appearance. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I am not I'm not
I
sure at
can't
all.
remember her ever showing up after this.
No, I was like, nope.
Wow, what a way to just end the episode. It's like,
Yeah, man.
there,
Bleak.
there she goes.
That was pretty bleak, man.
Yeah, so I would give this episode a rating of I don't do ratings. There you go.
No, I thought this episode was pretty solid. I mean, yeah, this episode presents an interesting psychological quandary between the two civilizations that can't kill each other because of a microbe that surrounds the planet.
Yeah, and I like how it doesn't wrap up uh,
Happily.
happily, or they don't put a bow on it. Basically, they just say, "Well, Jonathan Banks' character, I forget his name. Jonathan Banks' character didn't learn anything. It would have been very Star Trekky for him to be like, or maybe we can learn to live in peace or something like that." But
If you can change, I can change. Sorry.
yeah, you can change.
I can change. We can just. I'm trying to make a joke and I can't even get the line right.
But yeah, I really like Kaya Paka, and I liked the actress who played her.
Yeah.
Which makes room for the one of the devils of one of the devils of DS9. I say, her or Goldicott.
Yeah, but that woman, like I can stand Goldicott, but that woman, every time I see her, I just want to, I want to wring her neck so bad.
Yeah, and I like her relationship with Kira, and then her eventual relationship with Goldicott. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you for joining me, and
Thank you for having me back again.
anytime. And thank you for listening, folks. And until next time, live long